Hello YouTube, and today I'll be talking about my Disney Dreamers Academy experience. Okay, so if most of you do not know what the Disney Dreamers Academy is, it is a 4-day jam-packed weekend full of inspirational speakers, workshops, and of course ride and fun time at the Walt Disney World. So I applied for the program in October. Honestly, I turned in the application 3 hours before it was due. Now, what were my thoughts going through my head at the time? Well, 10,000 people apply for this program every year and only 100 get selected. Do you think I was going to be one of those 100 people? No, it was like applying for it was like getting a lottery ticket. You have 1 in a billion chance to get it, to win it. Well, I remember coming home from school and then all week I kept on getting these notifications through my email saying your UPS package was on its way and it would be delivered on Tuesday or something like that. And I kept wondering, okay, it's probably something I ordered and I can't think of what it was because I didn't recognize the destination it was coming from. So I just okay, it's probably something I ordered for Christmas, it's the holidays, ordered something. So I completely forgot about it when I got home, actually the day it was delivered, and I ran up and I walked upstairs. Well, my sister ends up opening and she yells at me to come downstairs and she reads this letter to me which says, "The registration for Kyle Knight in the Disney Dreamers Academy essay contest has been received. We are pleased to inform you that the student has been selected by the Steve Harvey Radio Network Incorporated and Disney Destinations as a potential winner of the contest." When she read it, I had her reread it because I honestly thought she was kidding, and I honestly wanted to scream at her because I thought she was lying to me, and I said, "That's not funny, don't lie to me." And so I grabbed it from her and I read it. I'll be completely honest, I've never cried so much in my life. I was so overjoyed of it was unrealized, it was like I wasn't dreaming at that point. I was like, wake me up, this is really not happening. But it really was. 2 months later, I had already connected with people who had also been selected for the program that year. So I flew out to Orlando Thursday morning. We got and arrived at Coronado Springs Resort. That's where they had us all the dreamers at and all the chaperones. Then they shipped us off over to Magic Kingdom around noon. They fed us lunch. It was box lunch. And I was part of a Disney parade. That has been a dream of mine, to sit there on a float or a bus. I was on the omnibus, the big green omnibus that you sometimes see strolling down Main Street. And I think I have a video of me on the omnibus right now during the parade. So after the parade, they shipped us off over to Epcot. I was finally able to ride Frozen Ever After. I have never ridden it until then. Loved the attraction. Great that the Imagineers did it. I missed Maelstrom, but they did a great job with the attraction. After we had a bit of free time in Epcot, then we were shipped off to our opening ceremony, which I have a video of. So we had Steve Harvey speak to us, we had Yolanda Adams speak to us, Mickey Taylor, some alumni shared what they've done since the program. After the welcome ceremony, they separated the chaperones and the dreamers apart from each other, so the chaperones had free time for the rest of the day. Dreamers, we went off to this connection dinner. We were able to finally meet all the other dreamers. We actually had to sit down, we were able to have a meal and talk together. They gave us a free tablet. I'm going to tell you, this whole weekend was filled with a lot of free things. Thank you, Office Depot. So after the dinner, then we had an Illuminations dessert party right there in front of the 2 gift shops in World Showcase, right there in front of the Spaceship Earth you'd see on World Showcase Lagoon. The desserts were fantastic. I love Illuminations every year, but I thought that was the best performance of Illuminations. Maybe because just the location was amazing and the fact that I had sweets in front of me. So after the Illumination dessert party, we were finally shipped back over to Coronado Springs. The next day, which is Friday, we woke up. We had a picture that had to be taken of all the Dreamers in the number 10, because this year, as you can see from my t-shirt, it was the 10th Dreamers Academy. So a lot of things were centered around, you know, the DDA Power 10. The number 10 was used a lot in the program throughout the weekend. So they had us all staying in number 10. Honestly, I couldn't figure out what they were doing at first until I saw this picture of us. I was like, oh, we were standing in number 10, because they kept moving us around and we were just like, half of us I think were still asleep. And so after the picture, they shipped us off over to the World Showplace building. It's that big building behind the United Kingdom Pavilion. You see see the entrance right between Canada and the United Kingdom. So they shipped us off over there. We were welcomed by this big banner that says "Welcome Dreamers," and we had breakfast. During breakfast, we listened to many of the alumni that were there. They shared what they've done since the program, what they learned from the program. Actually, to mention, there was 9 alumni there from all the other 9 classes of the academy. Since it was, again, the 10th anniversary, they wanted a Dreamer from every single academy there present. So they had every single alumni from every class there. After the alumni portion, they handed us our notebooks and our pens so we could take notes throughout the weekend. Jonathan Sprinkles spoke to us, which he is probably the most inspiring speaker I've ever listened to, especially during that program. He talked about dreaming big and, you know, face adversity head on. Make sure if you can see it, then you know your dream will come true. After Jonathan Sprinkles spoke to us, we had a session called Steve Harvey Unplugged. Now the name is in the title of the event, Unplugged, meaning all media outlets, all the chaperones, everybody was forced to leave the room except for the Dreamers and Mr. Steve Harvey. He spoke to us for about 2 hours, talked about his life experiences, what he did. We asked him a few questions. It was the best thing ever. I mean, he got real with us. It was a real talk with Mr. Steve Harvey. After Steve Harvey, we then ate lunch, and then we were shipped off over to our deep dive. I did the Imagineering deep dive. There were several other deep dives. I know there was a medical one, animation. There was many other deep dives you could have done. So I did the Imagineering deep dive, which was amazing. We were able to create our own dark ride. So we got in teams of 9, I think. We split up in 2 teams of 9. We were each assigned a job. So I was the programmer of our Moana attraction, which I give credit to Kerrigan and JT for coming up with an amazing attraction that I helped program. So we had Lee, one of the Imagineers, help teach us the programming, a simple programming around it, where this ride vehicle would follow this line around, and if something blocked it, it would stop immediately and detect it. So that was awesome to do. Then we presented it to this big room of Imagineers, which was amazing. Mickey Mouse came in. It was an amazing experience that I would never been able to experience back at home. After our deep dive, we were then moved back over to Epcot, where we had more inspirational speaking. Then we had a networking dinner, which we finally put our business cards. We each got like over 1,000 business cards. I still have a whole box of these. So they created business cards, which was amazing. So this was a networking dinner that a few celebrities and top executives in the company walked around. They taught us like what they did in life, what were their struggles. We asked them questions. It was basically a nice way to teach us how to network, because we have to put that into effect the next night. After the networking dinner, You were then shipped over to our gender associated little inspirational sessions. The guys session was called the Man Cave. We had many male inspirational speakers talk about, they had this football equipment and they taught us like what they think this part of the equipment means in life, and they talked about, having thoughts take residence, and just it was a lot of inspirational people. It was a really good, touching feeling moment. It was probably the moment I was like, my life is changed forever now because of this program. So after our gender associated sessions, we were then shipped over back to the resort for the night. It was about midnight, let me just tell you, and then we had to get up at 5 a.m. the next morning. They worked us at this thing. I think the most I had one night was 5 hours of sleep. You were exhausted by the end of the weekend. So Saturday morning we woke up, we had breakfast. During breakfast we had our image awareness session. So the girls had one, the boys had one. The boys, we learned how to tie a tie, we learned how to dress for success. It was a great session. I've used it ever since. I used every lesson that I learned from it, how to dress properly for certain events and certain occasions. After our image awareness session, we were then shipped over to the other part of the building where we were spoke to by Dr. Steve Perry. Great speaker, by the way. Strongly recommend, if you ever see him, be able to hear from him, I recommend you going. I recommend you listening to him, every word he says. After Dr. Steve Perry spoke to us, we had lunch, and then they made two groups out of us. One group went over to Hollywood Studios, had some free time. The other group went over to the Kinsey Collection over in the American Adventure Pavilion. I went to the Kinsey Collection first. Great collection, by the way, of all these historic artifacts and about the African American culture and history within the United States. Great collection. If you ever could go see the exhibit before, I recommend you go seeing it. After that, we had some free time in Hollywood Studios. After that, we came back and had our open mouse. Our open mouse was kind of like an open house. It was like almost like a career fair where we showed off what we did during our deep dives to many celebrities, top executives. I was able to speak to the lead software engineer of Disney, some of the mechanical engineers of Disney, some civil engineers of Disney. It was a great experience that I've never been able to experience back at home. I'm going to remember it forever. I exchanged business cards with them. I have some of their business cards. It was just a great experience altogether. After the open mouse, we had our DDA jam party where we were finally able to let loose, have fun. We had fun all weekend, but this was like the first realization that, oh my god, we were done. So after that, we were rushed back over to Coronado Springs for the night. Sunday morning, the final morning, was our commencement ceremony. This was the final day here at the Dreamers Academy. It was a very emotional day. So during the commencement ceremony, they fed us breakfast. The presentation was amazing. We had Patti LaBelle speak to us. We had Steve Harvey speak to us. We had TJ Holmes from Good Morning America speak to us. It was just a great ceremony. And then came the time where they gave us our rings. I cried with my family. I had my mom, I had my dad, I had my sister all there with me. I cried a lot. I'm not going to cry right now, I promise. That was when you finally knew that the program was over, but I knew from that program that I wanted to do more than just attend that program. I've done a lot since. So after the commencement ceremony, Steve Harvey sat down with all the Dreamers. We had our group photo. He spoke to us for about 2 hours, I think, about, make sure you don't put your head down because the experience is over. There's a lot more to it. And from there on out, I've always remembered that conversation with him. So I flew back home, arrived back home around 8 p.m. exhausted. I remember I slept a lot the next couple of days. I was really tired. They wear you out, this program. Things I could get out of this program are, well, apply. I'm telling you, apply for this program. It's amazing. You're touched, you are changed. I see the world in a whole different view than I've ever seen in my life. Another thing, you get to be part of a Disney parade. How awesome is that? That was the coolest thing ever. Another thing is, you get to listen to many celebrities, Steve Harvey, Cam Newton, you get to hear Patti LaBelle sing, you hear TJ Holmes talk to you. Those were amazing experiences that I thought I would never be able to experience. I will leave everybody on this note, is what Jonathan Sprinkles said. If you can't see it before you see it, then you'll never see it. Meaning that if you can't see your dream, then it won't come true. You have to envision your dream before you can do anything. And that is my goal in life now. To empower other children in my community to always dream on. To dream big. Dream for what they want to do, not what others want them to do. 2018 Disney Dreamers Academy applications are out right now. Apply, apply, apply. I'll leave a link down in the description. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, leave a comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Have a magical day.